Have you ever really thought about that huge gap? You know, between having a brilliant idea for an app or maybe a website and actually seeing it live?
Oh yeah, it feels like you need like a whole team, months, maybe even years sometimes.
Right. It can feel almost impossible, but what if you could jump across that gap, maybe in just minutes?
Minutes, that's quite a claim.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into PinSpec AI. It's this tool making that exact, pretty audacious claim, building fully functional apps in minutes.
Okay, so fully functional and minutes. We definitely need to unpack that.
That's the mission. We're going to look at how it supposedly works, what it can actually create, and why this might be such a big deal. We're basing this all on the source material describing its features.
And it sounds as it's aiming higher than just like a simple website builder.
Definitely. It's promising some serious efficiency, something that could genuinely change the game for creators, maybe for you.
All right, I'm intrigued. Where do we start? With the minutes claim.
Let's start right there. That huge claim, apps in a few minutes. The source material gives this a pretty compelling example right off the bat.
Right.
A clean website for an AI startup. Generated, it says, in seconds.
In seconds, okay, that's fast. But what does that actually mean? Is it just like a picture of a website?
Well, that's the thing. The documentation insists it's not just a mock-up. It calls it a fully working site with pages, buttons, and real logic behind it.
Huh, real logic. That's significant. So buttons you can click, pages you can navigate, even in that first seconds build.
Apparently so. It almost sounds, well, too good to be true at that speed. How does the source explain fully working happening that fast?
Well, I think what's revolutionary here, based on the material, isn't just the speed, although that's eye-catching. It's the depth of that initial build.
Depth, meaning?
When it says fully working, the implication is that the basic structure, the interactive bits, they're already functional. They respond.
Okay, so not just visual.
Right. It's not just about seeing if you like the look. It's about lowering that huge barrier to entry for actually making something. Think about someone with a great idea but zero coding skills.
Yeah, that's most people, probably.
Exactly. So this lets them potentially build and test ideas super fast. Ideas that used to need serious technical help, serious investment, turning a thought into something you can actually click around in almost instantly.
Okay, that's genuinely impressive for websites, getting ideas off the ground quickly. But what about more complex stuff like mobile apps? Can it handle that interactivity?
Yeah, that's the next logical question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the source material moves right onto that. It gives an example of a modern mobile app for food delivery.
A food delivery app. Okay, that's definitely more involved than a simple website. Lots of moving parts there.
For sure. And it describes this app having multiple screens, clickable components, and smooth navigation. So, the core user experience elements.
Clickable components, smooth navigation.
And crucially, the source really emphasizes this point. No code written. None.
Okay, that part challenges, how we usually think about building apps. How does it do that? How do you get that complexity, interactive buttons, menus, navigation, without someone actually writing code? That's where I get really curious.
Right, and that brings us to what seems to be the core innovation here. The source calls it the Visual Spec.
Visual Spec. Okay, what is that?
Think of it like the app's DNA. Every single piece of the interface, every button, image, text box, it doesn't just appear. It comes with what the source calls a smart auto-generated spec explaining what it does.
So, like comments in code, but automatic and visual.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe more structured. The material describes it as built-in documentation inside your app, ready to inspect or edit anytime. So it's not just taking a vague prompt, it's creating this detailed, editable blueprint first. That spec is what guides the AI to build things so precisely.
Okay, edit anytime. That phrase jumps out. Because, with a lot of AI generation, you get something, maybe it's 80% there, but changing that last 20%, tweaking the details, that can be frustrating. Sometimes it feels like you have to start over. Big frustration.
So how practical is editing this DNA? Can you actually go in and tweak things easily once the AI has built the first version?
Yeah, and this seems to be where PinSpec really tries to set itself apart. It's this edit the spec feature. The source says, want to tweak colors, change text, or swap an image? Just edit the spec directly.
Directly editing the spec, not reprompting the AI.
Exactly. The UI updates instantly. No reprompting, no wasted time. This is what they mean by the precision of direct editing. It's positioned as being more than a chat-to-build tool.
Gotcha. So it gives you back that fine-grained control that coders usually have, but through this Visual Spec interface.
Precisely. It aims for that control, that efficiency, which you often lose with purely prompt-based generation, making sure the app looks and works exactly how you want it to. That sounds amazing for the front end, the user interface. Building it fast, tweaking it precisely. But what about, well, the real stuff, like user accounts, data, actually making it work online? Can these apps built in minutes handle that? Or are they just fancy prototypes?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Is it production ready? The source claims yes and points to its Supabase integration.
Supabase, okay, explain that a bit.
So Supabase, for anyone not familiar, it's basically an open-source backend as a service. Think of it as providing all the essential backend stuff, databases, user logins, handling data in real time without you needing to manage servers yourself.
Okay, so it's like the plumbing for the app.
Pretty much, yeah. And PinSpec connects with Supabase, the source says, to handle authentication, real-time user data, and live updates.
So it's not just building the pretty front part. It connects it to a real engine room.
That's the idea. The material explicitly states, your app isn't just built, it's ready for production. That suggests a pretty big leap, right? From AI being just a brainstorming tool to being a tool that builds deployable products.
Yeah, that definitely blurs the lines between concept and reality. Okay, so it handles websites, complex mobile apps, even the back-end connection for production. Does the source give any other examples to show, like, the range of what this thing can tackle?
It does give a couple more good ones to show versatility. One is a recipe app,
Okay.
built in minutes, apparently, and it included features like image uploads and a custom theme, all managed through that Spec view we talked about.
Right, so handling user content like images and specific design themes. That makes sense.
Yeah, it shows you can manage content-heavy apps with specific media needs and custom looks, but still using that editable spec.
Any others?
Then there's a big one, a complete e-commerce site.
Whoa, okay, e-commerce is complex.
Right, and it details having things like product pages, shopping cart, and checkout, ready to launch instantly.
Shopping cart checkout. That implies serious back-end logic for transactions, user flows.
Exactly. It suggests it's not just laying out the pages, but building the functional systems needed for actual online sales.
Okay, so weaving this all together, what does this mean for, someone listening? It sounds like PinSpec AI isn't just about speed. It's aiming for fully functional websites, mobile apps, actual logic, ready for real users.
Yeah, and that Visual Spec seems key. That's the mechanism for direct, precise editing, giving you that control. And the Supabase part means it's not just a prototype, it can handle live data.
Right, as the source says, it's AI-powered development with the precision of direct editing, so your apps look and work exactly as you want. It combines that AI speed with direct control.
Which leads to a pretty interesting thought, doesn't it?
Go on.
Well, if building genuinely complex, production-ready digital tools can actually be squeezed down into minutes using this blend of AI and direct editing, what does that unlock? What projects that seem completely out of reach for you before, maybe because of time or technical skill, what suddenly becomes possible now?